Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we have a very specific mission, and it's really tailored just for you. We're looking for the ultimate shortcut to fluency.
hmm
So forget flashcards, forget all that rote memorization. We are tackling how to speak like a native by mastering some really tricky English phrases,
And
idioms.
walking them down instantly.
Exactly.
Right, and this deep dive is all about the methodology. We're using your sources to build this powerful mental architecture. It's called visual associative learning.
Or the visual memory palace technique.
Exactly. And the goal isn't just to, teach you 9 idioms. It's to take those phrases and move them straight into what scientists call permanent memory.
Permanent memory. I mean, that's a huge claim. The average person, they try to learn a language and forget half of it in a week. So where's the actual shortcut here? Or are we just masking the hard work?
Well, the structure is the shortcut because it completely eliminates the effort of that repetitive review. The sources give us this foundational equation, and it's incredibly powerful because it replaces abstraction with visualization.
Right.
It's simple. Literal image plus logical bridge. Permanent memory.
I really appreciate that emphasis on the logical part. It's not enough to just see something.
No,
If I just see a random image, it won't stick.
precisely. If the image is isolated, it just fails. The logical bridge, that's the thematic category that connects the abstract idea to something you already get.
It gives it context.
It gives it context.
And to provide that context, the sources sort our 9 idioms into 3 distinct mental rooms. So we're asking you right now to prepare to stock your first room. But first, let's talk about the blueprint.
The organization is everything here. People often try to use a memory palace by just, scattering facts along some mental hallway.
I've done that.
Right. But that still relies on chronological memory. This technique, it grounds abstract language in categories that trigger these really deep retrieval pathways in your brain.
Okay, let's unpack the structure then. Why 3 rooms, and why these 3 specific rooms? Couldn't we use 5? Or 2?
Well, 3 just works beautifully. It hits that sweet spot for quick categorization without, overload.
Right?
And your sources highlight that these 3 categories, they map onto fundamental human priorities, and that creates an innate logical bridge.
So it's like a mini Maslow's hierarchy, but for vocabulary.
Think of it exactly like that.
Okay, that makes sense. We're grounding abstract language in just universal human experience. So what are the 3 rooms?
First, we start with the most immediate experience, room 1, the physical self.
Okay.
This room deals with idioms about the body, your condition, your personal state. It's all about you, your immediate well-being.
Your internal reality. Got it.
Second, we move outward, room 2, the environment. This category focuses on idioms using external elements.
Like nature, water.
Exactly. Nature, water, exploration. All as metaphors for external challenges. Survival, resources, how you interact with the world around you.
So survival, money, the big picture stuff.
And finally, room 3, social dynamics. This is where we store phrases about interaction, influence, power.
How we deal with other people.
Communication,
Yeah.
how you navigate the social world.
What's fascinating here is that the technique isn't just about recalling the idiom, it's embedding it in a cognitive system.
Yes.
So when you forget a word, your mind doesn't have to search a random list. It just has to ask, okay, was that about my body, my environment, or my relationships?
And that narrows the search instantly. That grounding is the logical bridge in action. You aren't remembering 9 random phrases. You're remembering 3 themed conversations that your brain already finds important.
Perfect. Okay, let's start stocking the palace. We're going straight into room 1, the physical self.
Yeah.
And get ready to visualize some truly ridiculous things, because the more humorous and strange the image, the harder it is to forget. That's the core trick.
Our first idiom is the classic couch potato.
I think we can all picture this one without much trouble. I see a plump, maybe a slightly dusty potato wearing tiny spectacles, just sort of fused to a sofa.
And that image immediately gives you the meaning.
A lazy person.
A lazy person who spends a lot of time sitting and watching television.
Yeah.
You don't need to break down couch plus potato. The combined image is the definition.
Exactly. And the application is universal. He became a real couch potato after he lost his job. We all know someone who fits that.
Now, moving to a slightly more striking image, still focused on the physical state, we have idiom 2, bag of bones.
Okay, the visual for this one is pretty startling. It's a brown paper sack, but instead of lunch, it's thin, stretched, and you see the sharp outlines of white, dry bones overflowing from the top. It's meant to be shocking.
That shock is key for retention, the meaning. a very thin person or animal, emaciated. It's a very powerful visual description of frailty.
And the usage confirms that. The stray dog was just a bag of bones before we adopted and fed him. A powerful image, powerful meaning, stored safely in the physical self room.
And the final one for room 1 really leans into the humor of this.
Yeah.
Idiom 3, sweat like a pig.
I love this one. The image is just bizarre. I'm picturing a pig in a ridiculously small sauna, red-faced, covered in sweat, fanning itself with a tiny towel.
Which is funny because scientifically, pigs can't really sweat much.
Oh, real?
They roll in mud to cool off.
Yeah.
But the idiom relies on that dramatic visual of extreme effort or heat. So the meaning, to sweat profusely.
Heavily. The example is simple. It was so hot in the room that I was sweating like a pig.
Okay.
We've stocked our first room. The absurdity of it all. A potato on a couch, a sweating pig is what makes it permanent.
That's the essence of it. The novelty is what drives retention.
Okay, so we've left our internal physical self. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we move into room 2. This deals with our external challenges, our resources.
Survival.
Right, the environment.
And these next 3 idioms use nature, specifically water and exploration, as powerful metaphors for things like economic struggle or even business strategy.
Let's start with the most common one in this category. Idiom 4, keep one's head above water.
The visual here is pretty stark. It's someone, maybe in work clothes, to signal the financial context, and they're submerged, struggling, with their face just barely breaking the surface for air.
It's a perfect visual for, just trying to survive financially.
The meaning is exactly that, to manage to survive, especially with money, to avoid drowning in debt.
And the usage example confirms it. With all these bills to pay, we are barely keeping our heads above water. It's a survival metaphor for the balance sheet.
Right.
Now, sticking with water, we have one that's a bit more strategic, maybe a bit darker. Idiom 5, fish in troubled waters.
The visual for this one is a shadowy figure in waders, casting a huge net into water that's visibly murky, chaotic, swirling with debris. Other people are running away, but this person is deliberately using the chaos.
So the meaning is opportunistic, to try to gain an advantage from a chaotic situation. Now, wait, is this idiom always negative? I mean, does the source say if you can use it neutrally?
That's a great question. And while the image feels negative, implying exploitation, the context in the source suggests it's generally seen as a self-serving act.
I see.
The person is taking a risk, sure, but their motivation is profit, usually at the expense of stability.
It definitely describes a ruthless business strategy.
Yeah.
The example is, he is known to fish in troubled waters by buying companies when they are about to go bankrupt. That contrast between barely keeping your head above water and actively fishing in that same water is a great logical bridge between the two phrases.
Absolutely. The two ideas reinforce each other in the same room.
Okay, and for the last one in the environment room, we move away from water and into discovery with idiom 6, virgin territory.
The visualization here is a dense, unexplored jungle, thick with vines and fog. And there's a map maker at the edge holding a completely blank scroll.
The unknown.
It represents the unknown. So the meaning is a place or a field of activity that has not yet been explored or used.
And it's used a lot in professional contexts, right?
Very much so. For instance, using AI to write novels is still virgin territory for many authors. It's uncharted ground. And now, those 3 environmental metaphors are anchored in room 2.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We've mastered the physical self, the external world. Now we move into how we interact with others. Room 3, social dynamics.
This is all about power structures, communication.
Let's see if this one is as visually jarring as the sweating pig.
We're starting with authority. Idiom 7, rule the roost.
The visual for this is unforgettable. It's this enormous rooster wearing a tiny crown perched on the peak of a chicken shed. All the smaller hens are milling about below.
And the word roost here, the resting place for birds, that's the key component that gives the image its power.
So the meaning is just to be the person who makes all the decisions.
In a group or a family, the supreme authority in their little domain.
And the example nails it. In that family, the mother definitely rules the roost. That crowned rooster image, it just locks it in your memory.
Next, we're looking at surprise. Idiom 8, catch off guard.
The visual for this one is dynamic. It's a medieval guard in full armor, but he's dropped his shield and a shadowy figure has just appeared in front of him. He looks totally shocked.
And the meaning follows perfectly from that surprise. To surprise someone by doing something they are not prepared for.
Like in the example, The sudden question caught him off guard and he didn't know what to say. The simple action of dropping the shield is the memory hook.
And the final idiom in our palace deals with continuity, idiom 9, in the same vein.
This is one where the word breakdown is actually crucial. The modern meaning isn't obvious. The source visual is a cross-section of rock with different colored layers, but there's a glowing golden streak, a vein of ore running through the whole thing.
Exactly. The original meaning of vein was a continuous streak of a mineral running through rock. So that visual, showing consistency and connection, delivers the modern meaning. Similarly, on the same subject or in the same style.
So it describes maintaining a consistent approach, like the director's new movie continues in the same vein as his previous horror films.
And just like that, those 9 idioms are securely cataloged across 3 thematically linked mental rooms. The palace is stocked.
Okay, now for the moment of truth. We've used visualization, ridiculousness, categorization. Let's do a quick review using the source's visual prompts. So for you listening, try to recall the meaning based on the image we described. Don't rush it, just focus on the visual trigger.
We'll challenge you with 4 key images.
First, what does the image of the plump potato on the couch with a remote stand for? Remember, room 1, the physical self.
That would be a lazy person, the couch potato. It's the easy one, but it proves the method works.
Okay, next. Recall the image of the big rooster on the shed wearing a crown. Which dynamic was that in room 3?
That was the decision maker, the one who rules the roost.
The power dynamic. Third image. Visualize the person in that murky, dark water, casting a net while others scatter. That's room 2. What were they doing?
That's the opportunistic strategy. To gain an advantage from
Fuck.
chaos.
2.
To fish in troubled waters.
And finally, back to the physical self. The image of the brown paper bag overflowing with white bones. What meaning does that trigger?
A very thin person. The bag of bones.
Excellent. Okay, that quick test really shows the power of the visual trigger. But let's step back. If you only remember one thing from this deep dive, what is it that confirms this method is truly permanent?
It's the logical bridge. What makes it permanent is that we didn't just memorize 9 isolated things. We established 3 filing cabinets in your mind that your brain already recognizes as essential categories: body, environment, society.
I see.
By anchoring the ridiculous images inside logical rooms, we created redundant retrieval paths. You can forget the exact word, but you won't forget the category, and that will trigger the image.
So breaking down complex phrases into simple visuals and themed rooms, that equation of literal image plus logical bridge, that's the real knowledge gain. It's a mechanism for accelerated learning.
That is the ultimate takeaway. You now have 9 essential English idioms ready for fluent conversation anchored in your permanent memory.
My final thought and challenge for you, the listener, is to take this core concept using themed mental rooms and apply it to your next set of difficult information, whatever it is. Medical terms, legal jargon, remembering names at an event. Categorize them first. This memory palace technique works for any information overload.
Absolutely. The value is universal. And as you go about your week, just actively listen for these 9 idioms. You might be surprised how often they pop up now that they're locked in and you're ready to use them.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep learning.